Are we live? There we go. Welcome. Apologies, guys. We are late. We are running a little bit late. We've been on a couple of calls of people who want to join, who want to apply, and want to join our program, especially for that Slay Challenge. So, hello. Rachel, Gabby. Let's see, anybody else who's up? Jenna. I think that's everyone who said they were up. So let me tag them in here. Gabby. Do you want to talk about what we talk about while I do this?
Sure. So we've had one of the questions, and I think one of the questions was...
Oh, wait. What questions? Today's episode, we are going to be talking about, we're going to be answering some of your questions, and one in particular that I asked in the group the other day. What do you want trainings on? You asked some questions, and this is what we're going to be talking about. Okay.
Good signs of a workout, myths of a good sign of a workout. So certain things people say that you have to have, or what are some of the ones we've written down? There's like certain myths that I think just need to be dispelled, that we have to follow to either have a good workout or get good results. And then some of the things that we should be looking for, and what are the good signs and what are the bad signs or myths?
Yeah, exactly. Because like a lot of people will say, this is what I hear a lot from, especially new clients as well. When you're in here, guys, make sure you say hello. I can see you guys are joining. Say hello in the comments so I can say hi back. A lot of the first thing I think people do. Actually, I'm going to ask the audience. What, guys, do you think is one of the things that people say, or what do you think means that you've had a good workout? That's what I want your opinions on. What do you think? You're like, yeah, that was a good workout because X, Y, Z. Oh, you guys are on my Facebook, not in the group. Interesting. We are late tonight for you guys. I think in the UK it's like nearly 10 o'clock, so it's very late for you guys. But the rest of you guys in the States, etc., you're all good. You're all good. So, one of the first things people always say to us is, I didn't ache, so I didn't have a good workout.
I think that's a common one. So I think you're definitely going to be sore at some point, and sometimes you do want to, again, at some point, but we don't want to be sore literally every time we go in. Like, it doesn't mean like if you're not sore, you haven't had a good workout. Like, that is a myth, and that is what we need to dispel. So once you start a new program, that's probably when you're going to be the most sore, because generally that routine, that rep range, that amount of volume is going to be new to the body, and that's what will cause the most DOMs like straight away. But as you start getting into it, 4 to 5 weeks, it will then start to disappear. And it doesn't mean the workouts are getting worse, because you could still be getting stronger. And that's like probably one of the biggest myths. Like by week 3 or 4, they're like, it's not working anymore because I'm not sore. But it doesn't mean you're not building muscle. It doesn't mean that you're not losing fat. It just means that your body's getting used to what you're doing. And we start looking to other metrics to make sure we are progressing in the right way.
Yeah, definitely. So, like Cam said, like one of the things is that people are like, oh well, you know, I'm not aching, but they used to ache. Like Cam said, there's no working for me anymore. But being sore is not a sign of a good workout. Okay. Cam mentioned DOMS. So DOMS is delayed onset muscle soreness, which is that ache where you maybe go to the toilet and your legs hurt, or you try to wash your hair and your arms hurt. There's like that ache after. It's normally not right after. It's normally like the day or 2 after, isn't it? So the times you will have DOMs are, like Cam said, if it's a new program, and that's because your body isn't used to it. If you haven't pushed heavy for a while, so now all of a sudden, you're going from, I don't know, like 10 kilograms to 40 kilograms, your body's probably going to ache a little bit there. But the question would be, why haven't you been hitting 30, 35, 40 previously, right? Or you've now gone too heavy, that's 40. Or that's about it really, isn't it? Or if you've had time off and you're coming back to it, it's the same program, but now you've had like a little bit of time off.
Yeah, I think a long term of like inactivity, the body comes back to that. If you lose it, like use it or lose it type of thing. Even if you did the same workout program for like I don't know, a year, and then you took a year out and you come back to the exact same workout,
Mm.
you would have like atrophied or lost the muscle, depending on what you've been doing in that year. And you wouldn't have used those exercises in that order.
Mm.
So once it comes back in, it's sort of like a new stimulus. It will catch up pretty quick.
Yeah. And I think like even if you haven't atrophied the muscle, so atrophy is like when you, so hypertrophy is when you build muscle, and atrophy is when you break it down or lose. So I think sometimes you might not actually atrophy the muscle, but it's a new movement. So for example, I remember I hadn't squatted for like 9 months or something. Previous to this, I used to be able to squat 70, 80, 90 kilograms. I didn't squat for like a year, probably nine months to a year, but I was still doing hip thrusts, I was still doing deadlift or remaining deadlifts, I was still doing hack squat and leg press. So I was doing movements for legs, but not necessarily with that squat bias. So when I did start to squat again, even with the bar alone, which is 20 kilograms, I was about a week saying, my legs are aching, Cam. My legs are aching, Cam. Cam, my legs are aching. And he's like, shut up, Faye. But that's basically what happened. So my muscles hadn't atrophied because I'd still been working the muscles. But now, because it wasn't used to this squat pattern, that's what you call it, that's when the body was like, oh shit, like we need to sort this out. And realistically, looking back, I probably should have started body weight, then did some kettlebell squats or, dumbbell squats, goblet squats, and then gone to a back squat. But I was very keen, I was very eager. And I thought, well, I can normally do, 70, 80, 90, so 20 kilograms is going to be easy. I was wrong. Hey, Scott. Scott babes. Excuse me. So that is one of the worst things you can do, is try and force yourself to get sore after every workout. If we were sore after every workout, after 10 years of training, there would be a problem. There would be a real problem, because we wouldn't want to train the next day. Wouldn't want to train for 3 days later. We wouldn't want to do that exercise again. Or because we're not aching anymore, we're like, oh, well, we're not doing a good enough job. I may as well not bother. And so you lose motivation, you lose like commitment to it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. You wouldn't enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy something, discipline can take you quite far.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it for 10 years, I think you'd be like, stuff this.
Yeah, definitely. So another thing that people say is about sweating. So people say like, oh yeah, I was really sweaty, it was a good workout. Or, oh, I didn't sweat, so it wasn't a good workout. What do you think about that?
I think it's very easily flawed, because you could just go in a sauna and do a few push-ups and you'd sweat 10 times more because of the heat and the humidity. It doesn't mean you're going to suddenly build more muscle doing your push-ups than you would doing a heavy bench press in the gym.
Yeah.
You could just go on holiday to like Tenerife and you work out in a gym there, and you're going to sweat twice as much because of the heat and the humidity compared to the UK. For most people, you'll just sweat more. And like, sweating is just the body cooling itself down, essentially. So it doesn't mean we're like building more muscle or burning more fat, as some people like to think, or burning more calories.
What do they say? Sweat is fat crying.
Yeah, like it's a funny joke, but it's not.
It's a joke. Yeah, that's it. It's a joke. Lol. Guys, I want to hear, I can see like Fiona and Rachel in here. I want to hear what you guys think you should be looking for a good workout, or things that you've heard that you're like, is this true? Or you used to believe. And I think similar to the sweat and the soreness, I'm lying on the floor, leaving like a sweat angel, I'm really aching, I feel like I'm going to throw up, those kinds of workouts. I think that has come from, dare I say it, the C word?
Don't say the C word.
I'm going to say the C word. Cover your ears, people. CrossFit. I think it's come from CrossFit. I think all these people who are, yes, the athletes, the competitors, are at a completely different level. So I'm not really talking about those, right? But the people who are average Joes or average Janes now go into these classes, these CrossFit style classes, where they're like, like sweating, where they're struggling, where their hands are bleeding, where they're like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking die. I'm going to throw up and like pukey and whatever. That's really terrible. That's a really terrible thing to do. Your body isn't ready for it. It's not committed to that. The central nervous system isn't okay. Like, your body is not built to be put under that much, not stress, that's not the right word, but pushing beyond your healthy fitness levels, I think is what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, I think obviously you can do it sometimes, but we're
Yeah.
talking about the majority of the time.
Yeah.
People that are going in and try and kill themselves absolutely every time.
Yeah.
It isn't like we do need to push our body, but not to the extent where like we're just physically puking.
Yeah.
I think that's just that no pain, no gain type of
Yeah.
thing. Why would you not do the minimal amount of effort that you could do to then keep on improving long term? Whereas if you keep doing that, most people just burn out because they can't recover from that amount of intensity, because again, the people that are doing it are the competitors.
Yeah.
And they've probably got good nutrition, they've probably got good sleep.
That's it.
They've got the stuff to back up to train that
And it's their life
all the time.
That's their life.
Yeah, like the average Joes have enough stress with work and life. If we're trying to like kill ourselves in every workout, you won't recover, and you just end up way more burnt out than what you sort of predicted you'd probably be.
Yeah. Who said this comment? I'm curious if it's a client or not. So let us know who this is. To be honest, a good workout for me is when I feel it afterwards, tired and maybe DOMS if it's new exercises, but feeling stronger and like my muscles have worked. I'm curious to know who that is. Let us know. Although active plans are still evil, so I'm guessing it's a client. That would be my guess. Yes, so that's it. Oh, it's Rachel Harvey. Okay. So yeah, like Cam said, the competitors, these athletes are athletes, okay? You wouldn't go and run like, I don't know, you wouldn't go and play American football at the same level as the athletes, the actual, like, I don't know, big teams or wherever. You wouldn't go and play football or rugby at the same level as these big teams, right? Maybe like England or Wales or wherever other country. I don't do sports. But you wouldn't play at that level. You would play Sunday league, or 5-a-side, and then you'd go to like, I don't know what the next one up is, like
semi-pro.
Yeah, semi-pro. And then you'd go up to the next league, and you'd go up like that, right? But as your fitness increased, as your level increased, your life would change as well, right? So Sunday league, right? Yeah, I go on a Sunday, have a kick around, and I'm done for the week. Go back next Sunday, and so on and so forth. The more serious you get, the more you've got to take into consideration is less time for other things. There's more time to commit to it in training. You have to have your stress on point. You have to have your sleep on point. You have to have your nutrition on point. So like Cam said, these people have set themselves up to be athletes. And so when we normal people, we see that kind of thing, we're like, oh, I want to be like that. We push ourselves so far, not out of our comfort zone necessarily, but out of our safe zone, I would say. Because if you're throwing up, that is your body telling you there's a problem. It's not something you should be aiming for. Feeling really, really sore and struggling and sweating your ass off and leaving sweat angels on the foot is not something you should be aiming for. Like sweat is not a good sign it's not a sign of a good workout. You could sweat, like Cam said, in a sauna. Doesn't mean you've worked out. But likewise, you could do a really solid workout for strength and not sweat. But likewise, you can sweat as well. It's not like you can't sweat at all. But it's not something you should be chasing, okay? I literally just finished a workout and said I'm going to hurt tomorrow, and I still notice I feel happier, satisfied with my workout if I hurt the next day. Working on it. Yeah, so Rachel's one of our clients, and she's working on it. I think it's this addictive behavior and this like hustle culture and this grind culture that we've got. Like, if it doesn't hurt, you didn't do a good enough job. If the diet isn't horrible enough, or if I'm not suffering through my diet, it's not a good enough diet. It's those kinds of beliefs. But realistically, your body is very, 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 very good at adapting, right? So let's say you are here at this level and you push yourself to this kind of workout. Or let's go this type of workout. You go from here to here. Your nutrition is here to here. So you're, up here with your deficit, you're up here with your workouts. But then what happens when your body adapts? What happens then? Like, where do you go from there? Because you're already at your threshold. Wouldn't it make more sense to go from here So this is my deficit and this is my workout. And then your body adapts. So you go, this is my deficit, this is my workout. And then your body adapts. You've got so much more wiggle room than go from here to here. So you don't need workouts to be painful. We do not, well, we very rarely get pain from workouts, okay? That doesn't mean we're doing a shit job. Medicine tastes bad. Medicine that tastes bad works the best. I don't know if you ever had Calpol, Rachel? I don't know if they have that in America, but I'm sure they have in Scotland. But yeah, Calpol tastes delicious. Just tastes like sugar. And that works just fine. So, not true. Also, poison. Probably tastes disgusting. Doesn't work very well. Kills you, in fact. So, there you go. What else, Kat? What else do people think is a sign of a good workout, but it's not? So you've got sweat, we've got DOMS.
I think it's like volume, but either in volume or in time. Like the more I do, the better. So if I'm in the gym for 2 hours, it's a better workout. But like we say, there's a threshold to where we're going to make gains, and once we get over that, you don't build any more muscle. But yeah, obviously you'd be burning more calories, but we don't go to the gym to burn calories. We do that with nutrition. We could do that with like low fatiguing activities like steps, and your life would be much more less stressful, and you wouldn't be sore and dead all the time. So I think like that's a big thing. The more is more, but when it comes to workouts and weights and resistance training, it's definitely not.
Yeah, I agree. I think people are like, well, Faye, you told me to do 4 workouts, so I did 6. Now I'm like, but did you do your meal prep? No, I didn't have time. No, sort it out. If I said to do 4, do 4, okay? Because then when your body catches up, then we're going to do 5. If we were doing 6, that means we've got to do 7, which means you've got no time to do anything else. So you're working out every single day. And what happens when it's 7 days a week? Well, now we can't go from 4 to 5, 5 to 6. Now we've got to go from 6 to 7, 7 to 8. Now we're doing 2 workouts a day some days. We don't want it. Don't need it. Don't need it. Not necessary. So let's not do it. I think they're like the key ones. Do you think?
I'd say they're the most common. Like you have to be sore. Like you have. The more you sweat, the better.
Yeah.
And the more I do, or the longer I stay in the gym, the better. When it's not.
I do have another one actually. The calories I've burnt on my Fitbit or my Garmin or my Apple Watch. Oh yeah, all on the machine. Yeah. Well, my Fitbit says I burnt 400 calories in those 10 minutes. Fitbit's wrong. Like, no, they're wrong. Okay, they're just not accurate. There's that, right? So not only are they not accurate in taking your your heart rate, but then translating that into calories is not accurate either. So we can't go by that. And I used to be queen of this. I used to be like, I'm not leaving the gym till I've hit 500 calories. I'm not leaving. On a weekend, it was like, I've got extra time. I'm not leaving until I've been 1,000 calories. And I used to do that like, all the time. All the time. What a mistake. It was a waste of time. I was not building any more muscle. I was not losing any more weight. In fact, it was just increasing my stress, my cortisol. And so it was actually making me hold on to body fat, which is not what I wanted. I don't want to be at the gym for 4 hours on a weekend, like on Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday, just so I can gain more body fat. It's not ideal, guys. It's not ideal. So there's the calorie thing. And there was something else I was going to say. Doing high reps versus low reps. It's not really like a sign of a good workout or like necessarily, but people, again, it kind of goes into what you're saying, like more is better when it comes to rep ranges as well. Hey, Nicole, welcome. So what are, do you want to say something?
Yeah, we'll just answer it now because it was Nicole that's asked it, I think.
You're not supposed to tell people.
She wrote it in the group anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, Nicole asked, she sweats more on her lower body workouts than she does on her upper body workouts. And is that normal? And does that mean she has to be changing something on her upper body? But no, in general, it's correct. Like you're working way bigger muscle groups. Like your biggest muscle, like your quad and your glutes, are like pretty much the biggest muscles in your body compared to like your biceps, your triceps, or maybe your chest and your back are the biggest in the upper body. We compare them to our legs. Like we can push way more weight and we can do way more intensity. We can do way more reps and volume.
But when we're doing a squat, you're using more muscles. You're using your core, you're using your back, you're using your arms, you're using your legs. Whereas if you're doing a bench press, okay, yeah, you are using those, but to a way, way, way lesser extent, isn't it?
Yeah. So you would just technically burn more calories, technically have a higher heart rate, and just work harder in the lower body session when it's done right.
Yeah.
So you can't really force yourself to say sweat more in an upper body session unless you literally put cardio in between your workouts, in between exercises, which you don't recommend, or you just turn the heating up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's
especially in Texas right now because it's freezing cold. Nicole, get a jumper on. Put the heating on at the gym, definitely.
Yeah. But I think it's a very common question. It's just quite straightforward to answer. Like, yeah, it's pretty common.
Yeah.
You'll sweat more, even if it's just strength and you're having lots of rest. I definitely sweat more on lower body days.
Yeah, I think I do as well. Yeah, unless I've got a pre-workout that's kicking in, it starts making me sweat. But generally, yes. All of your winter clothes are in storage. Oh dear, get them out. Get them out. Needed today. Yeah, so they are. Yes, you will burn more calories on a lower body day. Usually, depending on how hard you're pushing, of course. You will probably sweat more on a lower body day rather than upper body day. And everyone's very different as well. But typically, that's what would happen. So what are signs of good workouts? How should you be feeling after
it? So you are going to feel sore at some point, but you don't have to be absolutely dead and so sore that you can't walk the next day.
Yeah, you don't want to be aiming for it.
Yes, you don't want to be aiming for it. I'd say like you're feeling like good and energized, like it's woken up the body.
Yeah,
is like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be so sore until like 24 or 48 hours after anyway. So initially we should feel more energized. We should have more energy. So I think that's like one good one.
Yeah, you should feel like I've done something. I'm feeling active. I'm feeling energized. I feel good in my body. No aches, no pains, no DOMs. We should be feeling like, getting good sleep, feeling like I'm ready to nourish my body. I think they're like the main things, aren't they? You should be feeling proud that you did the workouts as well, essentially, even if you don't want to, even if you didn't get PBs, even if you didn't sweat, even if you weren't throwing up everywhere. Like, you should still be proud of yourself for going and not pushing yourself out of your health zone as well.
Yeah, and I think the biggest one probably is like the progressive overload. Like you are getting stronger. Like obviously that is a good sign. That's a good workout. You could not sweat and you could never be sore. But if you were progressively overloading it, even by like the 1.25 biscuits, like the 1.25 plates each week on different lifts, then over time, like you would have accumulated a lot of more extra kilos or pounds like across a month, 2 months, 3 months. And then that is a sign of a good workout because it's obviously working. As long as like you feel like you are pushing yourself. Like I think that's like, it's just one of the most simple signs that it is a good workout or program and that you are doing the right things. And in the background, you're doing the right things. And you've got good nutrition, you've got good rest. Because if you weren't, like, sometimes you could have a good workout program, but you're never improving because you're never fueled. You have really bad sleep, really high stress. So it's always just trying to get
the balance,
the whole shebang.
Yeah. And I think, we're talking about getting stronger and stuff as well, but sometimes progressive overload doesn't mean adding on extra weight as well, right? It could be an extra rep. It could be that your range of movement has increased as well. So it could be like, say you used to overhead press like this, but now you're going all the way up, you're coming all the way down, all the way up. You might be doing it at a lighter weight, but now you've got a full range of motion. Squats we see big time, don't we? A lot of our clients send in videos and their squats, as soon as they start to go up a certain weight, their squat depth decreases. So they're not going to 90 degrees, they're not going to parallel, so they're just like bobbing rather than squatting. So your progressive overload could be dropping the weight but increasing the range of motion, and that's going to be a progressive overload sign as well. Things like decrease in rest periods, although that is bordering on doing HIIT and cardio, so we won't touch that one. Holds, so if you're doing like a lat pull down, you hold at the bottom and then go back up, pull, hold at the bottom, go back up. That's a really good, that could be a progressive overload. Slowing down, so tempo. So if you're doing a lat pull down, you'll go like this instead of this. Okay, we're not like partying, raising the roof. So there's lots of different ways to progress and have a good workout as well. Having better form, for example, like people can squat really, really heavy, but they're like folding over, they're not pushing their knees out, they look like shit, they look like they're going to break their back. Like, probably not the best workout. Whereas if you've been working on your mobility, your strength in different areas, your weak sides and that kind of stuff, then you will feel better, you will look better. And that's the thing, guys, you can sweat all you want, you can be sore all you want, but if it's not going to make you look better, what's the point? Or feel better, I should say so. But generally,
it's always it's that instant gratification type of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always like in the moment you'd feel better, but we're always pushing to people what would be better long term. And we know, we had a t-shirt we bought, or we got given a t-shirt the other week at that convention, and it just says "Do the boring work," and like it goes for like everything, like whether you're in business, whether you're like working out, like do the nutrition, do the sleep, do that slow progressive overload, and over time doing the boring work gets you the results. But in the short term, if you want to go do CrossFit and absolutely be dead at the end of it and puke, then in the short term, you're going to feel like, oh my God, I have done a massive workout. I'm going to be absolutely dead tomorrow, which you probably will be. But over time, then the next 3 days, you actually move way less because you're so sore. Like people are like, oh, I'm not getting up to walk to the fridge. I'm too sore. So your basic, even your metabolism will lower because your NEAT lowers. So then long term, that's not actually the best result. So we're just always trying to get the balance and look a little bit deeper than how sore can I be, or how hard can it be? Yeah, we do want people to push like consistently, but it's not to like the brink.
Not to the detriment of the long-term success. And that's why with our programs, we have like a longer term commitment. It's not like a bloody 8-week shred. It's not a 6 week, anything like that. We do have the longer term, so that we can coach people to change their mindset rather than just be like hustle, hustle, hustle. And I think it's the same like with an exam. If you had an exam coming up, what would be better? Would it be better to start revising 2 months earlier, doing a little bit, revising, doing a little bit more, revising that, going over it, comprehension, all of those kinds of things, and then still getting the rest in, still eating enough, practicing the course or wherever you need to be doing the skills? Or would it be better to have that 1 week before, cram it all in, not sleep, not eat, I'll rest when I'm dead or once the exam's over, and then have the exam? What do you think would get you the better result? Are you good at exams?
No.
But generally, the practice and the good recovery and the slow burner, shall we say, will get you better results than go hard, go fast. And that's just the truth. That is just the truth. Slow and steady. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Jenna Taylor.
That's her name, Jenny Talia. Jenny Talia. So people won't get this guy. People on the podcast will be like, what the hell is he talking about? So guys, that's for it, I think. I think that's all we want to talk about today. Let us know if you've got any questions. Oh, actually, does anyone have any questions in the group on my Facebook page while we are here before we go? Because it's been a short one. We know that it's later than normal, so we're not going to hang around because a lot of our clients, I love that a lot of our clients are like, I'm not coming because I got to go to bed. I was like, good for you. So a lot of our clients are under a 28-day, what would you call it?
Challenge.
Well, it's not really a challenge. It's like we did call it a challenge. Actually, we called it a goal digger challenge. And so what we're doing is committing to 3 things actually for 28 days. So for the first week is 3 things. Then the next week we add 1 thing on. Next thing we're adding on. Next week we're adding on, right? So a lot of our clients have chosen having a bedtime routine or going to bed at a certain time every day or waking up at a certain time every day as their habit that they want to work on. And so they're like, do you know what, Faye, I'm not coming to your life because I need to go to bed, because they are that committed to the program, to the challenge. 28-tier commitment. Yeah, exactly. Tammy is a mess because of the time change. Apologies, Tammy. It is because we changed the time of this one today. So it is a mess, yes. So on Wednesday, it's going to be an hour.
Back to normal.
Well, it's not back to normal because the UK are an hour closer, an hour behind, right? So we will let you guys know what time it is.
When does the US go back an hour?
This weekend. So next week is going to be all fine and dandy. But for still off is time is off still. Yeah, time is wild at the minute. We don't know what time it is, don't know what date it is, what month are we in, what year is it? So we will reconfirm the times. November the 5th. Yeah, this weekend. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we will reconfirm the times of the live and the Zoom for our clients this week to help you guys out. So there we go. No questions. If you need anything, let us know. Otherwise, we will speak to you guys on Wednesday.
Ciao.
See ya.